Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position.
Hello YouTubers and welcome aboard. I am Noob Flyboy X and welcome back to F1 2018 Career Mode. The real Formula One season's been underway for a little while, but here we are back with my series for round 9 at the Austrian Grand Prix. Looking forward to this. This is going to be a good one, I think, coming into this, because it's a lot of straight lines on this track, and that's where my Williams is excelling at the moment. We'll be making some upgrades, not so many just yet, but we've got a lot coming for the next Grand Prix. So we're hoping to get started, do a pretty good race here with this one, and push our way further up the championship, gaining more resource points to upgrade the Williams, shooting for double points finishes. To do that though, we've got to do well in our practice programs, which we did, and now on to do qualifying and a lap of the Austria circuit. First corner here, and up the first straightaway in the first DRS zone of the circuit. There's a slight pair of slight bends in this straightaway, but it is very much a straight. You don't really need to worry about those corners too much. Brake a little early into what's sort of the second turn, but also there's a couple other turns because of the kinks in that straightaway. But oh well, down the second straightaway and the second DRS zone of the circuit. Coming down to a second heavy braking zone here, some decent passing opportunity into that corner. Looking for a good exit there. You can't run too wide. There's not a whole lot of room before the gravel. Here into what is the most technical section of the track. Hard to the left and hard to the left again, but still a fairly high-speed corner, doing over 100 miles an hour through there. Onto another straightaway. Straight section here where the Williams again has the power down. Last couple corners here, and the pit lane dives off there to our right. Into the final corner. Again, you want to be careful not to run wide and lose too much time, but you can carry a lot of speed through there. Last DRS zone onto the front straightaway, and there's our fastest lap for Q3. And that would have served us fairly well to get onto pole position at this track, had it been able to stick. Moving on here, I believe, to Q2. That we got into easily, and again another fastest lap, a 109.4. Doing pretty well here. But here, as we go on to the final lap of qualifying, we're going to cross the line only 10th, but that's alright. I feel like the game has become a little too easy, so I've been upping some difficulty, more specifics later.
A mechanical issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
We also had that slight issue right there at the end of qualifying. We'll replace the gearbox. It'll drop us down a couple places as we head to the race.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Magnussen, Ocon, Alonso, and Carlos Sainz, Hülkenberg, Leclerc, Marcus Ericsson, Iceman, Gasly, Hartley, Romain Grosjean, and Sergio Perez. Van Dorn and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So we'll be starting a bit down the grid, unfortunately, but oh well. We've made up some places in previous races, and we can do it this race. We're going to go with the two-stop strategy today, actually, because as you can see in the weather there's going to be a little bit of rain into this Grand Prix. Looked like it'll be the end of our second stint on the Ultra Softs. Here we go. To 5 red lights at the Austrian Grand Prix. Lights out, and away we go, as David Croft would say, of course. Making a good getaway there. We're not getting swamped off the line like we usually do. Pass Ericsson, Leclerc, and a few others up into turn 1 and squeeze them out. Might have forced some people off the track a little bit. There's a bit of a gap behind us from a pile up there, but we're safely away, and we're already up to 10th in the first of the points-paying positions. Fernando Alonso just ahead of us. Braking a little early so as not to slam into the back of him. I do not want damage, certainly this early on in the race as we head on to the second straightaway. No DRS, of course, but we've got a fantastic launch off the line, challenging that McLaren as we almost get squeezed off the track a little bit there. Brake, whoa, don't quite hit the back of Esteban Ocon's Force India. There we go, nicely up a place in front of Fernando Alonso. Good start there. Here we go, sticking close to Esteban Ocon. looking to make a pass, looking to set up a pass on him and work our way further up the field. I can see my rival Kevin Magnussen next up the road ahead of Ocon. Bit of a bad exit there, a tap from Fernando Alonso. He's challenging us back here. It looked like he might have a look here into the final corner. No, he backs out of it a little bit. There he is, actually alongside of us and back past us again. We'll have to work on getting into his slipstream and see if we can power down the straightaway here. There we go. The power of the Mercedes engine in this Williams really coming in handy here in these long straightaways. And there we are, back past Fernando Alonso, looking to target Esteban Ocon once more as the second lap begins. Up the long straightaway, we got some time to make up. There's a bit of a gap to him, but I think we can do it here. Brake nice and late this time as there's a bit of a gap up to him. No risk of me hitting the back of him. We've already made up some ground. We're looking good. We're looking very good here to get past Ocon, continue on with the race. I'll be very happy to catch my rival again. Magnussen's had a good weekend this time. Look, he's already passed Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, making his way up the field as well. So we've got to deal with Ocon, then deal with Ricciardo so we can have a go at Magnussen. Once we do that, we'll be looking really, really good for this race. Holding it together pretty nicely, going a little wide, but still doing well enough that we're not losing any time to Ocon. Coming now to the end of the second lap, the final complex of corners here. Ocon a little slow through there, having to lift off just a bit. Look to the inside, got chopped off there a bit, but that's all right. We're coming up on him now. At the end of this lap, DRS will be available, and the first DRS straightaway is, of course, just around the corner here. Following him pretty well. Good launch, DRS open in the slipstream for good measure. Let's see if we can get him into that major corner up here. We're gaining on him. We look to the outside and on the brakes, and there we go. Neatly up past Esteban Ocon. Next is the Red Bull man, the Aussie Daniel Ricciardo. He's quick, so I'm going to have to work hard to catch him here. But as we head on to the third lap and a little beyond, we are looking good still. It's been a good opening few laps. On lap 4, right up to the back of Ricciardo. Magnussen and Verstappen just ahead. Open the DRS, we're in range. Ricciardo's got DRS of his own as we're all on the grass a little bit, but it's not enough. He's not going to get past. I'm going to send it. Run a little wide. There's Ricciardo with a switchback on us as we make our mistake there. We've lost some time to him, but we can make that up, I'm certain.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
So there's Jeff talking about the rain that we expect coming. That's where I'm going to make the stop early because I want to get on multiple sets of tires so I can just push with those tires. No tire conserving because that would potentially just make me be a little slower than I needed to be, and might have to do an extra pit stop for the intermediates or wet tires anyway. But here we go, making a pass on Ricciardo there. It's a bit more difficult now, like I said, as I've upped the difficulty for two different things as we get past Ricciardo there. Hopefully we can make that stick and pursue Magnussen, who looks like he himself might be challenging Max Verstappen in a little bit. But the difficulty I was mentioning, I reduced the traction control from full to medium, and that's good. Ricciardo's actually taking a look up our inside here, though, again, into the final set of corners. There he is, but I've got him. Stay on the power around the outside. The other piece of the difficulty that I've upped for this race is the AI, up from, I believe, 60 to 70% AI. It's been a little too easy, I think, and even in this, doing as well as we are, I might have to up the difficulty again, as we're now on Magnussen's tail and closing in. We've got DRS. He does too on Verstappen, but it's not making it work for him. There's a bit too much of a gap to Verstappen. Here we go. Right up the back of him. A little bit of a tap there, but no damage to either of us. Get a good launch. And DRS, we've got a great acceleration advantage over that Haas. And now we're closing on Verstappen. We might try to make a move on him as well. We dive up the inside and squeeze Verstappen out a little bit. We leave him enough room, though, to stay on the road. But now Magnussen will be challenging him, and hopefully that will keep the Dutchman behind us. It's the second race in a row when we've had a serious duel with Verstappen, because we had that duel with him trying to catch him in the wet weather race in France in the previous episode. Here we go, we're getting away a little bit. Verstappen is still right there in the slipstream. He might look, as Ricciardo did, to the inside. There he goes. He sends it. I can't get on the power as well as I did against Ricciardo, and there's Verstappen up past me again. I'm still in 6th, though. Here we go, on to the next set of laps here on lap 9. We're doing pretty well. The engine, some parts of it in particular, the turbocharger, is a little worn, but it's not bad enough to be a problem just yet. We're still doing just fine in the straights as we make another move on Verstappen up the straightaway into the first of the major braking zones. We're doing pretty well. Continuing on now. We're in a rhythm here. We're doing good. We just need to keep Verstappen behind us and we will be golden for quite a long ways. We're still only in the first stint of this race and already we've had a lot of action, passing multiple cars and now trying to defend from Verstappen, who's got a boost to his confidence based on the upping the difficulty of the AI. Just up ahead of me now are the 2 Ferraris and one of the 2 Mercedes. If I can catch them, that would be an achievement. I haven't really had a serious duel with any of the major teams yet, aside from a little bit of a scrap with Kimi Räikkönen in China, I believe, and a little bit in the early stages of Canada, but not a serious battle like this. As Verstappen is looking at my inside again. Squeeze him a bit narrow onto the final corner, back onto the front straightaway where we've got an advantage with our power unit. The Mercedes unit is better than that Renault unit, at least in this season. We'll see if they make improvements via the R&D trees. But we're going pretty well still. He's looking at us though again as we head up to this corner. He's got DRS, sending it to the inside. No, he backs out. There we go. Still got the position, but Verstappen is making a challenge of it. He's pushing really hard here, and I'm actually having to struggle a little bit, make sure I'm consistent and staying on the racing line, on the fastest line possible to get through this. There he is still right behind us. He's better in the technical section coming up, but we've got him for now on lap 10. Our rhythm is still going strong, but unfortunately we're still not as consistent as I'd like to be. There's Verstappen again on the end of lap 11 coming up past us. I'm going to try to hang it around the outside better this time, stay on the power, but he's still got us. No matter though, because I'll have DRS on him this time as we pass through the detection zone with myself just behind. Within a second of Verstappen, and here we go. In the slipstream, up the inside, late on the brakes, and into the first corner. He's still ahead of us though. I thought I'd got him, but we've got DRS again and I've got a better launch. At the top end though, he's starting to equal us a little bit, but not enough. There we go. I've got him again. We're starting to get close to the first pit window though, so at the end of this lap I believe, or maybe the next lap, we'll be coming in to get onto a fresh set of the ultra soft tires, the purple striped ultra softs. Here we are in the pit lane. We're looking pretty good. The weather's starting to come in though. It's starting to get a bit cloudy here in Austria as we make our pit stop. We're looking pretty good though. Nice quick stop from the Williams guys, I hope. But we're held as a Haas goes by next to us. Unfortunately, it looks like either, I think that was Grosjean, looks like he's got us back for making up the pit stop with him in France, as now we have a battle trying to make up some positions on these other cars who have yet to make their stops. I don't want to get held up too much behind them, even though they will still have to stop within the next few laps to get a new set of tires themselves. But we're back up to 8th, Kimi Räikkönen just ahead of us, a few seconds up the road here. Carlos Sainz behind us, as well as Ricciardo and a few others who I didn't see. But we're doing pretty well. What I want now, though, is to make sure I get out ahead of Verstappen, because when I got out of my pit stop, because of being held there, Ricciardo was actually ahead of me, and I had to pass him there, as we saw just at the beginning of this clip. Oh, bit of a mistake there. We need to hold it together. The Renault of Carlos Sainz is looking pretty aggressive behind us, but we've got him. Like I said, though, I need to make sure I get out ahead of Verstappen because I don't want to have too many more duels trying to get past him. I'm alright defending from him, but I don't want to have to make a serious effort at getting past him again, especially if we're going to end up with wet weather. And there we can see some raindrops on the car, on the screen. We're not looking too pretty here in terms of the tire strategy if we end up behind Verstappen, so I want to make sure I get out in front of him. Looking here into the pit lanes, though, there I can see him. He's in the pit lane coming out now. This is an important move for the race if I can get past him. There he is, coming out of the pit lane just now. We've got momentum on and we should be able to get past him fairly easily. Our tires are warmed up and they're 2 compounds softer. No, he's touched us. That's it. We're in the wall.
Engine off, engine off.
And the Dutchman strikes. I gave him all the room in the world and we still managed to go into the wall together. As we can see here, there I am on the outside. We can see from this angle, I have left him all the room in the world here. but he turns into me, and there we are both in the wall. He's lost a front wing and a tire. I've lost both front tires and the front wing, and that's game over for us. That is game over from the the Austrian Grand Prix, where we were looking very strong indeed.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
Because it's just the video game, there's no chance of Red Bull actually doing this, but had that been a real race, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Red Bull do what they did to Danny Kvyat after the Russian Grand Prix in 2016, where they demoted him from Red Bull back down to Toro Rosso. That was a nasty crash, and there was no reason for it to happen. I had every advantage in that situation. My tires were 2 compounds softer, 2 compounds better than Verstappen's. They were warmed up while his were just fresh coming out of the pit lane. I had momentum coming out of the first corner. There was no reason for that to happen. And I'm really disappointed by that result. It's really unfortunate. We could have had a good points haul for the team, but unfortunately I guess it was not to be. There was no need to worry about the rain, I guess, because we got taken out before it seriously hit. Looking forward to the British Grand Prix, though, where we've got lots of upgrades for the car. Hopefully we can make it up. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, and have a nice day.